You taking time to observe that not everyone who smiles at you feels comfortable around you. Some people laugh with you, agree with you, and greet you warmly, yet deep inside they are nervous whenever you are around. Not because you are evil, not because you have done something terrible, but because your presence awakens something inside them that they do not know how to handle. Fear is not always loud. Sometimes fear wears a smile. Sometimes fear hides behind respect. Sometimes fear disguises itself as friendship. And sometimes the people who fear you are the same people who claim to support you. Why is this so? What makes one human being feel threatened by another? What can we learn from the signs? Because understanding this can save you from confusion, broken relationship, and unnecessary disappointments. Sign number 1, they constantly watch you. Have you ever met someone who always wants to know what you are doing? They ask questions about your plans. They pay attention to your movements. They listen carefully whenever your name is mentioned. Sometimes they know things about your life that you never told them. Most people think curiosity means admiration, but that is not always the truth. Sometimes people watch what they fear. Think about a student in school. The student who fears being outperformed often pay more attention to the best student than anyone else. Think about a worker in an office. The employee who fears losing an opportunity often watches the strongest competitor closely. Think about family gathering. The cousin who secretly compare himself to you may know more about your life than people who genuinely care about you. Why? Because fear creates attention. People naturally monitor whatever makes them feel insecure. A person who feels secure rarely spends much time studying another person's life. But a person who feels threatened often becomes an expert on it. What if the reason someone keeps watching you is not admiration? What if it is fear of being left behind? Not everyone who pays attention to you is inspired by you. Some are measuring themselves against you. And when people constantly compare themselves to others, they often become unhappy without realizing why. Sign number 2, they minimize your achievements. Have you ever noticed how some people react when good things happen to you? You finally buy a car. They say it is not a big deal. You get promoted. They say anybody could have done it. You start succeeding. Suddenly they find reason why your success is not impressive. Why is it that some people struggle to celebrate others? Some people assume it is jealousy. Sometimes it is, but oftentimes it is deeper than just jealousy. Your success forces some people to face uncomfortable questions about their own lives. Questions they have been avoiding. Questions like, what have I done with my whole opportunity? Why am I still stuck? Could I have worked harder? And instead of facing the discomfort, some people attack the achievements. Not because the achievement is small, but because the achievement reminds them of something they do not want to think about. Have you ever seen this happen in families? One child becomes successful. Instead of being proud, another sibling starts criticizing everything. The success itself is not the problem. The comparison is. Fear often speaks through criticism. A person who feels secure can celebrate another person's victory. Sometimes criticism reveals more about the critic than the person being criticized. Sign number 3, they become uncomfortable around honest people. This sign surprises many people. People who fear you often become uncomfortable when you are known for honesty. Not because honesty is bad, but because honesty removes hiding places. Have you ever noticed how some people relax around those who lie, yet they become nervous around those who tell the truth? Why? Because truth creates exposure. Imagine a church member who pretends to be kind but treats people badly in private. Imagine a businessman who cheats customer. Imagine a friend who speaks nicely to your face but insults you behind your back. When such person or such people meet someone who values honesty, they often become uncomfortable. The honest person may not even know what is happening, but their character creates pressure. What if the fear is not about you? What if it is about what your presence reminds them of? Human beings often fear mirrors more than enemy because mirror reflects things. And sometimes the hardest person to face is ourselves. The fourth sign is that they try to turn others against you. This is one of the saddest signs. When people fear someone, they sometimes try to gather support, not openly, quietly. They spread small doubts, small rumors, small negative comments, nothing dramatic, something enough to influence how others sees you. What does this mean? Because fear often seeks protection. Throughout history, people have formed groups whenever they felt threatened. Children do it in school, adults do it in workplace, family do it during conflict, communities do it during disagreement. A person who feels unable to face you directly may try to recruit others emotionally. But here is something interesting. People who are genuinely confident rarely need to destroy another person's reputation. They focus on improving themselves. Fear focuses on controlling others. Growth focuses on developing oneself. That difference reveals character. Pay attention to people who spend more time discussing others than improving themselves. That habit often comes from hidden insecurity. The fifth sign is that they celebrate your mistakes more than your successes. Yes, they celebrate your mistakes more than your successes. Some people are quiet when you succeed. When you struggle, they suddenly become interested. When you fail, they become energetic. When life becomes difficult for you, they seem strangely comfortable. Why? Because your mistake makes them feel safe. For a moment, the comparison disappears. For a moment, they no longer feel behind. For a moment, their fears become quieter. This happens everywhere, in villages, in cities, in families, in workplaces, even among friends. Human beings often compare themselves to others without realizing it. And comparison can become a prison. The person being compared suffers. The person doing the comparison suffers too. Nobody wins. That is why emotionally mature people celebrate growth wherever they see it. They understand that another person's success does not reduce their own value. The sun does not become smaller because another candle is lit. Not everyone who fears you fears your money. Not everyone fears your position. Not everyone fears your intelligence. Sometimes people fear your discipline. People fear your confidence. Sometimes people fear your honesty. Sometimes they fear your courage. And sometimes they fear the possibility that you are becoming the person they wish they had become. But before you become proud, ask yourself another question. Who do you fear? Whose success makes you uncomfortable? Whose presence makes you compare yourself? Whose growth secretly bothers you? Because the same human nature we see in others can also exist inside us. This is not a lesson about judging people. It is a lesson about understanding people. Every human being carries fear. Every human being struggles with insecurity at some point. Every human being struggles with comparison at some point. The wise person does not hate people for these weaknesses. The wise person understands them and then choose a better path, a path of self-awareness, a path of growth, a path of becoming secure enough to celebrate other people's success without feeling threatened by them. Because one of the strongest signs of a healthy mind is you can admire another person's success without questioning your own worth. And perhaps that is the truth many people discover too late. The people who fear others the most are often the people who have not yet learned to be at peace with themselves. Like, subscribe to this channel, follow for more. Thank you.